Right. I mean, ASAP just rejected a plea deal for 180 days and is now facing 24 years. Big difference, right? Let's talk about it. We're going to go through a couple videos. We're going to look at the actual plea deal and as the judge and the lawyers, even from the plaintiff side, we're trying to explain this to him like, dude, you know what you're facing if you blow trial. And then I want to take a look at the actual assault footage, the alleged assault footage of the shooting, allegedly. And last but not least, we're going to take a look at his lawyer speaking about this case. And we're going to determine, was this a stupid move? Was this a bold move? Was this a smart move? All right, let's take a look at some of the footage and then we'll come back and decide.
I wanted to know, what is there an offer from the prosecution?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, what is the offer?
The offer is as follows. Go ahead, counsel.
The defendant would plead guilty to count 1, assault with a semi-automatic firearm. It's a violation of 245B, and admit the allegation that he personally used a firearm pursuant to the allegation under 12022.5A. In exchange, he'd be placed on formal probation.
Hold on. Are you aware? Is the defense aware of this offer?
We proceeded right. We discussed it.
All right, go ahead.
I'm sorry.
So he pleaded to those charges. He'd be placed on probation for 3 years with 7 years state prison suspended. He'd have to serve 180 days in the county jail, complete 480 hours of community service, a 52-week anger management program, a gun safety course, and surrender any firearms that he has in his custody.
All right. So immediately y'all can start weighing in the chat and in the comments below of how much you think those stipulations are heavy or not, right? So he'd be serving 180 days in jail. I think they said 3 years probation. He'd have to waive his rights and turn over any firearms that he has in his possession, X amount of hours of community service, and also an anger management course, right? That is the plea deal that's being offered from the plaintiff side, right? That they rejected. Y'all start to weigh in as we continue to listen to this. Do you think that that was heavy? Do you think that that was a great deal? Do you think that was sweet? He should have jumped on it. But let's continue.
All right, I got the community service, I got the gun safety. Oh, what was it, anger management? Is that what you said?
Yeah, 52 weeks anger management.
And Your Honor, we wanted to make sure that the defendant understood. We've said
Real quick, what type of anger management course requires 52 weeks? Like, it's like, what am I learning in 52 weeks how to control my? I mean, whatever.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna ask him, is he aware of this offer and how he feels about it?
we just wanted to, from the people's perspective, Your Honor, make sure the council understands, the defendant understands, that if he's convicted, his max on this case is 24 years. We're gonna be asking, very likely, for a sentence that's gonna be somewhere 10, 12 years in state prison. And he's gonna have to serve, depending on CDCR's different credits, which seem to be changing. Originally it was 85%, they're still serving 2/3, but 2/3 of that time is a lot of time in state prison. We just wanna make sure that he is aware and understands for issues later, if he's convicted and there are issues of ineffective assistance, I didn't understand, I wasn't told, etc., that he's in court understanding that that's what he faces if he's convicted.
All right, Mr. Tacopina and Mr. Siegel, can you discuss this offer with your client?
I ain't gonna lie, right there, it seems like the plaintiff side, state, it seems like even they are a little shocked. Like, listen, Judge, we just want to make sure that they understand what we discussed with their defense and his attorneys of what we're offering as a plea deal. Do they understand that if they turn this deal down that we just discussed, he's going to be facing 24, and of that 24, I wouldn't be surprised if we sort out, try to stand on 10 to 12 years of that. 6 months, 10 to 12 of a 24, like, man, like, let's continue. I see why even the state side is being so adamant. Like, do you hear what we're offering you? And even a judge seems to be a little bit like, you heard this, right? You guys had an opportunity to pay attention to what. Oh shit, damn.
Mr. Mayor, do you agree with that?
Yeah, they spoke to me about it in detail, Your Honor.
Okay.
Do they fully explain to the, what the offer is to you?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
And, how do you feel about it?
I respectfully decline. Thank you.
All right, you understand that you never know what a jury's gonna do. If it happens, that it doesn't go your way, people who are convicted of this crime, they go in custody and they go to prison. Are you aware of that?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because you're not gonna get any special treatment, you're not, your status as an entertainer, your status as the significant other of Liana, that's not gonna go to your benefit, and it's not gonna go to your harm. I'm gonna, treat you like I would anybody else who's sitting on that, in that chair.
Yo, the judge could have just said the last part without everything else, right? He said, listen, man, you don't want to take this deal. I want you to understand what you're facing. But as we go to trial, I'm going to treat you like any other person that would be sitting. He could have just said that. He ain't have to say, like, look, man, I don't give a fuck about you being a celebrity. I don't care about Rihanna. He didn't say Rihanna's name. Yo, the judge was tripping right there. But I think that this is all towards the point that I just made, that it almost feels like the vibe, like the judge and the state side is like they're triple checking that the defense, Rocky and his attorney, understand like what we're offering versus your exposure if you continue on and are found guilty. It's like they're shocked by this shit. But all right, let's continue.
So you are aware that if convicted, you'll go in custody, and it's very likely you'll get a significant prison sentence. You are aware of that?
He says
Yes, Your Honor.
significant.
I'm well aware.
All right, and you're not interested in the people's law.
No, Your Honor.
Okay, then that takes care of it for appellate purpose. Okay.
All right, right there. So that's really the last we needed. That we got 2 more videos to take a look at. I mean, right? Rocky is standing on that, boy. That man said, yes, I respectfully decline. He said, yes, I understand everything. I get it. I'm going to be treated the same. Judge said, let me just try to reiterate one more time. It's going to be significant time if you lose this. You do not want what the people offered. He's like, no, respectfully decline, dude. Like, all right. Before I get to the video of his lawyer, let's go ahead and pull up the video of the actual alleged incident, right? So this is nothing new. It's coming back up in the headlines, of course, over the last day or so. But this alleged incident took place over a year ago, maybe 2 years ago or something like that. It's all involving him and his old homies, right, from the ASAP camp. ASAP Relly, I believe, right? So we saw some of the video, and if you haven't, I'm about to play it, of them getting into an altercation, and when from that point, Relly is saying that he was grazed or shot in his knuckles, like literally shot across his hand, right? Like grazed, not in his hand, but grazed across. So it's an odd shooting explanation. But as far as the video is both good and bad, and I'll explain what I mean by that in a second. All right, little scuffle, little pushing, little shoving. Okay. All right. Okay. 2 people there. All right. I understand. Somebody comes over in an attempt to break it up. Okay. Now, right there is where they say ASAP or Rocky pulled the gun. Okay. All right. Yeah, all right. After that, okay, everything in the background, we're seeing the continuance, aftermath. All right. I see blurred out specs, people moving around, running. Okay, allegedly people running. You're gonna tell me that that's when the shot went off. I understand. All right. All right. Looks like 2 people right here. Like, I don't know if that was a scuffle or not. Can't really tell. All right. People running across other people's ring cameras and business cameras that's on the street. Okay. All right. I mean, we get it. We get it. We get it. We get it. Let's pause it. Let's pause it. Footage. So to put the 2 people in the same place, obviously the defendant, Rocky, and the plaintiff Relly. To put them in the same place on camera on the alleged date is an issue to me, right? The next issue is you have clear video evidence of these two people having an altercation. That's the second issue. The third issue is like, I mean, it looks like a gun being pulled and it's going around the internet blown up and people are honing in on it and saying that looks like a clear strap that's being pulled. I think, the greatest of the great attorneys in the world would probably say that wasn't a gun that was pulled. I guess I could see the middle on that. I could see that's tough to get around, but I could also see like, you could shake that to a degree. Okay. But after that, just for somebody to come in and say like that motion right there looks like a gun is coming out and he shot me. You got to pay attention to it. Like that's not some shit where UMG is going to come to the table and say, look, man, this guy's tripping. We're moving for a motion to dismiss right away. And Jay-Z went after the same thing. Early dismissal. This ain't that. You know what I'm saying? There's clear evidence footage of the two people having some type of discrepancy and physical altercation. So that's an issue. You don't see any shooting though on camera. I think that's on the good side for Rocky's defense, right? And what you see in the background of what looks like when people scatter, like allegedly when the shot went off, those are just a bunch of black specks blurry in the background. And I want to assume that this is the best footage that's going to be available in this trial as evidence. So if this is what they have, not just the altercation, we can say there's an altercation. Okay, like Rocky can take the stand too and say, we did have an altercation. Niggas fight with their best friends every day, B. Right? So, like, okay, cool. But I shot him? No, where do you see that in the footage? I don't see any of that in the footage. Did it happen? Maybe. But you could also say that it didn't happen. If you're going to show me a bunch of specks in the background saying that little blurry speck right there is when Rocky shot him and then everybody ran, I just see a scatter of spots. So I think that's a strong defense for his team to lean on, but that's not the crux of this discussion right here. The main thing that we want to discuss is the fact that you can be offered 180 days community service and anger management course, and you'll be on 3 years probation, and you have to turn over the firearms in your house, even if they're legal. That's just part of it. A lot of people hear that and think that's a sweet deal. Okay. And give me a second, y'all. We're going to get to his lawyer. A lot of people think that that's a sweet deal, considering what you're facing. 24 years. And you hear the state side, the people side saying, man, we're going to at least go for 10 to 12 of that. Right. Okay. I saw a headline that came out that said Rocky is in fear of his career not being recoverable if he goes in and he serves the 180 days. I am of the opinion that that's impossible, right? First of all, in the hip hop world, we know our culture. You kind of get a boost of recognition, notoriety, all that when you come home. Look at what's going on with Big Meech. Big Meech is getting so much buzz around him because of that concert that all these big name artists are about to go throw and perform for him, that is becoming controversial. You see the headlines, they're like, yo, people don't even celebrate people coming home from college like this. Like, why does Big Meech deserve all of this? Right? It damn near became controversial. We're not talking about Big Meech that sat there for, what was it, 10 whatever years or whatever. Like, he sat there for a minute, right? He really served time. This would be 180 days, right? So you come home from 180 days. Does the 3 years probation hurt? Nobody wants to be on probation, right? No, you don't know how it could limit him, his movements. I mean, if fucking Young Thug is able to move around on the consideration that I have a career to conduct, I'm pretty sure ASAP would have got that after his 180 days too. So the probation, I'm not saying it's beautiful to be on probation, but I don't think people's going to say like, oh, that's the end of your career right there after 180 days, the probation aspect. The courses and the community service or whatever, you do that at the time where it's fitting. You work that out with your PO. You know, that's swept under the rug to me too, to a degree, considering you allegedly shot somebody and that person is coming forward saying he shot me on some Meg Thee Stallion shit, right? So the whole career not being redeemable, and for nothing else, like, we're not going to ignore it. The judge brought it up for the same reason. Rihanna, your lady is a bit like some people might say, like, you don't need a career. Like, you got 2 kids with a billionaire. Women do it. I don't say Rocky did it on purpose. Women do it. They go and fucking get pregnant by these fuck. Listen, I ain't gotta go in that conversation. Guys do it too. All right, ladies, don't get mad at me. All right. But no, Rocky has a career, and Rocky is a respected artist, and he's a respected figure in the hip hop world. So don't take my jokes too serious right there, people. Okay. But for real, what is Rihanna's capabilities as far as your career? You could literally, no exaggeration, like literally roll over and get a feature with Rihanna. She just did the Super Bowl. No exaggeration. You roll over into a Rihanna feature. What the fuck? You don't even gotta do a song with her. You could do a quick live with her on some Cardi B and Offset shit. It's like, yeah, I'm just back home chilling with Bay and Eric. Oh, look, it's Rihanna. I don't really buy your career. It will not be returnable, so to speak, after 180 days. Because once again, in our culture, you actually get a boost. Now, your music can take a hit in certain circumstances, especially if you serve more time than that. If you're past your wave, if you're past the generation of music that you were known for, if you're older and it was a younger crowd that was in tune with you. Bobby Smurda and Rowdy Rebel, to a degree, look like they have suffered from that, right? They got all the love and the respect, and people rocked with them and supported them when they came home. But it seems to be more so on a respect side. You don't see the music support there. How many features have I seen since it seems musically right now they're dead. And that's unfortunate because we all fuck with them, but they served, what was it, like at least 7 years or something that Rowdy Rebel and Bobby Shmurda just served? You know what I'm saying? So it looks like that scenario with that amount of time, that killed their music career, B. It really fucking did. The last headline that I seen between Bobby and Rowdy was Rowdy making headlines because he told LA to SMD or something like that over the Pop Smoke thing. And then he went back on No Jumper and did an interview about it. That's the last headline. I don't hear about no music. Before that, what did I hear? I think I heard something that Rick Ross blocked Bobby Shmurda from a show that he was headlining because Bobby was laughing about when he got punched in the face when he was in Canada. That's the type of stuff I'm hearing about Rowdy and Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Their music careers really, really been affected, if not over. Unfortunately, ASAP facing that, I don't see it. I don't see it. But this is how I begin to further rationalize why he would turn down 180 days and instead facing what you saw the state say 24 years. Here's why I start to rationalize it a little bit, to be honest. Let's check this out.
Do you feel like your client was set up to some degree? It seems like that's what you're indicating. Is that part of your defense?
The last question I asked this witness, guys, you'll remember, this rally was, did you ever ask Rocky or any of his associates for millions of dollars to make the criminal case go away? He swore under oath, no, he did not. That's not going to bode well for him in the trial.
Stop. And matter of fact, my bad. I'll even slow it down for y'all, and we will replay it. But that was very confident. That was borderline cocky and arrogant. For anybody that missed that, he said ASAP Relly already testified under oath that he never asked for any amount of money to make this all go away, right? And he said in trial that's not going to bode well for him. Let's replay that and watch even his confidence and his mannerisms as he's answering that piece, y'all.
Rocky or any of his associates for millions of dollars to make the criminal case go away. The last question I asked this witness, guys, you'll remember, this rally was, did you ever ask Rocky or any of his associates for millions of dollars to make the criminal case go away? He swore under oath, no, he did not. That's not going to bode well for him in trial.
Yo, he said that shit so confident. He said, that ain't going to go his way. I mean, that to me is, I'd bet a couple people in the chat $20 each that there's a screenshot, there's a video, there's a recording, there's a text message, an email, something that starts to push you towards a defense of extortion. Then you get to paint the picture because the judge just sat up there. Now, peep the tie-in. The judge sat up there and said, I got to treat you regular, dude. If you want to go to trial with me, I ain't going to be thinking about or caring about Rihanna. Cool. But watch how now the judge is aware of who he is. The judge is thinking about, in the back of your head, you just thought about Rihanna, Mr. Judge, respectfully, right? You know what it is. You know who I am. You know who my peoples are. And think about this. Now you got this strong, because if you Google this lawyer's name, what's his name again? Joe Tacopina. If you Google him, he comes up in a lot of these guys be getting sought out by these millionaires and billionaire couples or whatever. They know what they're doing. This is a serious guy, this guy Joe, this attorney Joe. And you get in there and you start to build a defense of things like extortion. And you get to play a part of saying, like, this is a celebrity, well-known artist that I'm defending here. My client's wife and the mother of his children is this billionaire Rihanna. That's why this guy said on this text message or on this screenshot or on this email or on this voice note, said to me, hey man, like, yesterday was yesterday, man, and whatever happened, but you got it. You lay up next to Rihanna every night. Send me a couple $1 million, man, and this will all go away. That don't look good. Me personally, I always got a problem with criminal shit being swept under the rug, or people attempting to sweep it under the rug and instead pursue money, right? If, for example, mothers and fathers in the chat, if something happens to your son and your daughter, if your son or your daughter comes home and says, I was SA'd, I was assaulted, right? Are you going to say, all right, well, you go ahead and walk that off? Let me call one of these lawyers and let's file, like, let's say allegedly the neighbor did it. Let's file a civil suit on our neighbor and let's go for a quick $1 million because he's rich, right? And we're gonna work it out like that. Nobody's gonna say that's our route. Nobody's gonna say that. Now I understand it went extreme using your child and being SA'd, but the concept still carries for me. I just made everybody just say, hell no, we going either I'm trying to get street justice or at least it got to be criminal, right? And that's why you be seeing the families jump over the damn barricades in the courts trying to get their hands on a defendant. But anyway, point being, if you got allegedly grazed across your knuckles, right, from this alleged shooting, right, you obviously didn't have an issue. And then you go to money, they're going to say, why didn't you go to the police? And that's part of this as well, people. They're saying that the man never went to the police. They're saying when the police were informed, though, that the police went back to the scene the next day and they weren't able to recover any evidence, including shell casings. Look around the internet. It said that the man Relly stated that he went back to the scene and he picked up the shell casings, which is why none of the detectives were able to find any of the shell casings. When I read that, I said, what? I said they're gonna kill him in court. He's gonna be shredded. Relly's gonna be shredded by lawyers like this. So allegedly, hey, let's all make this go away for a couple $1 million. Oh, y'all didn't find shell casings? That's because I went and I picked them up. The gun has never been recovered either. And I'm not saying that you need to recover a gun to be convicted. I don't think guns were recovered in Young Dolph shooting. You know what I'm saying? You don't need the guns to be convicted. But it just looks weird. And some of these details is what starts to paint the Rellies of the world as a money grab opposed to a true with I'm just saying, it's details like that he's going to have to face high-powered lawyers about.
And I'm not going to try the case here either, guys. And with all respect to all of you and you doing your jobs, we'll have our day in court. We look forward to our day in court. I am certain Rocky is going to be vindicated when all this is said and done. We're not questioning.
That right there, if I'm Relly, that scares me too. Now, of course, you want your lawyer to be confident, and he's speaking to the press. So they're reading body language, they're reading answers. People's going to pick this apart and narratives get created in the court of public opinion from interviews like this. But when he says, I'm certain Rocky is going to be vindicated, because I just have so much experience seeing that lawyers will tote the line. Now, maybe it's different when lawyers are taking the podium and these publics. I've never been in a situation where I had a lawyer had to publicly speak on my behalf. I've never been in that type of situation. So maybe that's why they say it. But behind the scenes, my interactions with lawyers over the years, lawyers, they have a bit of reservation towards speaking to you in a way where they guarantee you something, right? Like, you don't guarantee that you take my case and I'm getting off. You take my case and I'm not going to get more than a year. You take my case and we're going to turn this guy into a lie. I'm going to be fully vindicated. Like, they're very cautious of that. But like I said, I'll play devil's advocate and say maybe it's different because my experiences never included people that publicly speak out in front of the media, which is your opportunity to play court of public opinion, which always weighs in, whether people want to admit it or not. Public opinion weighs into the jurors' minds. It weighs into the judge. Obviously, he says things that he's already pre-conscious of. Oh, your wife, Rihanna. You see what I'm saying? So the court of public opinion always matters. Always matters. Hell, people sue over what's happening in the court of public opinion. Look at Drake. Drake is like, I'm pretty much a PDF at this point because of UNG and the song Not Like Us, right? He's not acting like y'all say what y'all want. It ain't true. I mean, that's what he rapped on the hot pause. But we don't got to get into that. Like, let's just finish it.
Oh, sorry. In a case like this, do they offer like a plea deal or anything?
We haven't asked for a plea deal. We're not taking a plea.
So this is a
it's never
year
gonna be a
ago.
plea, ever in this case.
Do you think it'll be hard to convince a jury that those?
You see what he just said? Now, let's go back. Let's go back a couple seconds. I want to replay that one more time, people. I want to replay that one more time.
Do they offer like a plea deal or anything?
We haven't asked for a plea deal. We're not taking a plea, so there's never going to be a plea, ever in this case.
Do you think it'll be?
Now, once again, this is about a year ago. So whatever this lawyer has in his possession, as far as evidence, proof, phone calls, DMs, screenshots, video, whatever he has, him and Rocky put on the table between them two, the confidence that this lawyer is exuding is through the roof. Asked about a plea deal. What was his answer? Now, once again, this was a year ago, but what does he say? He said they haven't offered one, but we're not taking one ever. So it don't matter. You can offer what you want. This man must feel like, wait until we put our little joke and our big joke on the table. This guy Relly's gonna look crazy. That could be the case because we're just here instead of, you see a title like this: ASAP Rocky rejects 180-day plea deal, but is now facing 24 years. I could have been very, very shallow and just said, yo, man, 180 versus 24 years. Just take the 180. I'm trying to draw the real logical points now that's already in the public and show us and show each other that there's something more to it when we see ASAP turn down 180 day, and 3-year probation type of deal. There's more to it. So that's what I expect to be happening right now. If we don't see Relly get made out to be a fool and substantial extortion like evidence and whatnot be put on the table, if we don't see that, then we'll double back and we'll all scratch our heads and say, why the fuck didn't you just take the 180 days? But I think the judge is scratching his head. I think the state is scratching his head. They kept reiterating it like, you sure? And what does Rocky step up to the microphone and say, I respectfully decline. Yes, I understand. To turn down that disparity of 180 versus 24 years, they got something. And the lawyer's pretty much saying it here. Okay. That's my main point, people. So after you pretty much interpret that, the energy from his lawyer, the footage and the evidence that we see, which doesn't really show anybody, I shouldn't say, to me, doesn't show anybody get shot at all. Right. And the fact that this is a strong and a high-powered lawyer, do y'all have the opinion still? Doesn't matter. It's not worth the risk. I don't care if you got a whole team of Johnny Cochrans. Your career ain't gonna suffer. I shouldn't say only. It's 180 days. You still have a billionaire wife that sits right at the top of the food chain when it comes to the record and the music industry that could press a button and put you anywhere that you need to be, right? No matter what, 180 days, 3 years probation, turning over the firearms in your house, Anger management courses like 52 days. I think that's wild. I ain't gonna lie. And probation, I think I said already, and community service, right? That's not worth the risk of going to trial and then possibly facing a 24-year sentence, right? And maybe once again, when he said of the 24, we're going to be seeking at least 10 to 12, maybe he means, time in versus time out, walking off the rest via probation, right? But even still, 10 years of the 24 time in it's a huge difference than 6 months, people. So do y'all think that, nah, I'm not risking it no matter how good my defense is? Or do you say, nah, Rocky stood tall, man. They know what they got. They know they need to tell the other side, kick rocks, pun intended. We ain't taking no deal because this nigga's 100% lying, and we got strong evidence that as long as we get a fair trial, we straight. Which one would y'all go with, y'all? I think that's an interesting question, man. I'm gonna be looking in the comments after this video is done. Check y'all out on this. You know what I mean? Keep the comments coming for real. I want to see what y'all would do, man. Person to person, this might be fun to see.
Don't confuse silence with work ethic. I'm a boss making decisions, my first fetish. The verse cherished is perfect, that's a reverse blemish. I dropped it, connected the block, learn Tetris.
This is the Sorry True Podcast. Welcome to the house of. And shout out to the members.
Without my thing, still got a gun.